and welcome to another episode. In today's episode, I am going to be talking about the math object. But before we get started, if you're new to my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. That really helps my channel. And if you want to get notified every single time that I upload a new video, you can activate the ring bell. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, everybody, so to get started in today's episode, I want you to open the same website that we have been using so far, which is MDN. On the search box, you're going to type in simply the word math, and you're going to select the first article, okay? Now, I also have open here another website, which is W3 Schools. In W3 Schools, you're going to jump into the JavaScript section right there, and then you're going to scroll all the way down until you find the word JS Math. Okay, and of course I have here open the website that we have been coding so far, including the code that we have been using, right? So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the math object because I believe this is something very important for you to know, especially when you're going to be programming, let's say, games or some other stuff, okay? So let's take a look and first learn the concept of what math is. And then I'm going to also show you another examples in W3 School so that you can be crystal clear in what this is, okay? So let's read here first a little bit in MDN. So it says here that the math namespace object, it contains static properties and methods for mathematical constants and functions. Math works with the number type and it doesn't work with big integers, okay? Now, unlike most global object, math, pay close attention to this, is not a constructor. So all properties and methods of math are statics. Now, you can keep on reading a little bit because there are a couple of properties that you will use in math. But first and foremost, I want you to be crystal clear in what math is. So JavaScript math object. The JavaScript math object allows you to perform mathematical tasks on numbers. So that's another definition in what the math object is. But plain and simple, I am going to explain you in my own words what the math object is. For me, in JavaScript, the math object is like a toolbox, we could say, right? That provides a collection of mathematical constants and functions, right? Like operations that you can use in your code. So we can say an example of a constant could be, let me scroll down here a little bit and I'll show you an example of what a constant is. Okay, here's a good one. Pi. Okay, that's a constant. Now, what else could be a constant? You know the infinity symbol, where that means that it represents that something is unbounded and it's limitless without any end. Let me just look for it here. Infinity symbol. Okay. So this symbol right there, that's a constant. Okay. This other one right here, this is a constant. Okay. So those are what are considered constants. So when I say that the math object is like a toolbox, right? That provides a collection of mathematical constants. I'm talking about this. I'm talking the infinity symbol, the pi. I'm talking about a whole bunch of constants that are already in mathematics, right? That are already built, not only for this program, but in general. When you learn math, you probably are going to be, somebody is going to teach you about this, right? So all those built things that math has will be in this object so that we can use it, okay? And that way it'll make our lives a little bit, easier, okay? So again, the math object is like a toolbox where you will have a collection of mathematical constants, right? And you are also going to have functions which are going to be kind of like operations that you can use in your code. Okay, so that's what it's very cool about it. Because if you're not great at math, you are going to be able to do math with this object. It's going to be very, very helpful. Okay, so that's why the math object is super important. Just think about it for now as a toolbox where you have constants and you have functions so that you can, execute operations inside of your code. Now, in the math object, we have a whole bunch of properties, okay? Now, you already know what a property is, but let me just show you a couple of examples. You will have the property E. It is the Euler's number. You will have pi. You have squirt 2, squirt 1, line 2, line 10. You will have log 2e, log 10e. So all of this are properties that you can use. Now, the most common one that you will see used very often is one called math.random, which is something I am going to cover in our next episode. And also another one called math.floor. Okay. And I will explain what those are and the syntax and everything that you need to know about it. But for now, I just want you to know that what the math object is. That's the purpose of this chapter. And I think that I already cleared that out. And what is it used for? Okay. And what properties it has. So if you want to take a look and see more, let's say more properties, you can go to MDN. And by you only typing the word math, it's going to give you this article. Now, on the left side, you will see the standard built-in objects that this property has, right? All the properties of the math will be there. If you want to take a look at methods, you will see a couple of methods that are in here as well that you will be able to use, like the one I was telling you, math.floor, which is very, very useful. Math.random as well. You can have many methods. You can go ahead and actually read a little bit more and see what all the properties that the math object has, right? But pretty much, again, think about it as a toolbox where you have a whole bunch of constants already saved in it. It comes built in with a lot of functions so that you can execute operations in your code. Okay. Now, if you want to take a look and see an example and how this works, you will have to learn a little bit more of properties and methods. But let's just go really quick to W3 schools and let's take a look and see here an example. This first example, which are the constants, right? So if I hit here, try it yourself. Okay, so if you can see here in this chunk of code, this script right here, you have inside of in bold, right? You have math.e, right? And then you have the value of e right there. Then you have math.pi, and then you have the value of pi. So this is just giving you a whole bunch of examples in what each constant value is, right? So remember, again, these constants are also considered properties inside of the object, right? Now, you will see also methods in here. The methods will be something like round, which is going to round the number to its nearest integer. You have seal, so it'll round up to the nearest integer. So there is math.floor, which it'll round it down to its nearest as well integer. So all these functions will do this for you. And you will see that these are very useful whenever you get to see the actual function itself when I explain you this. Another thing you will see very often in here, as I said before, is something called math.squirt, which is going to return the square root of something. Okay. Then you will see something like, well, take a look and see here, math.cost. You have math.apps. Now I'm looking for math.random. Okay, math.random, which will return a random number between 0 and 1. Okay. So you have a whole bunch of functions with the math object. You have a whole bunch of properties. Again, just remember, for us, this is as simple as saying that the math object is like a toolbox that you have, which has inside a whole bunch of constants, which already have a predefined value. And as well, it has a whole bunch of functions, or in this case, we can call them methods, right? That you can use to perform operations. It's just as simple as that. Now, I hope that as of now, you have a clear understanding what math is, what the math object is. And in our next episode, I'll show you how to use a couple of these things, and so that you can become a little bit more familiar with math. But what I encourage you to do today is go inside of MDN and read a little bit more about the math properties, read a little bit more of the math methods, so that you can become more familiar with this. And again, remember, you don't have to be an expert in math to do this. There's a whole bunch of information outside in the web whenever you want to build something. There's a website called Stack Overflow where you can get help from other developers that has already figured out, the solution for certain formulas, for certain algorithms and stuff like that. But it's important for you to know the concept, right? The basic concept of this. And, if you're very good at math as well, you're more than welcome to start designing and creating your own formulas using these built-in objects. Okay. So that's it, everyone. That's what the math object is. I hope that you're very clear. I hope that you have understand that we're going to be use this a lot when we're creating, when we're programming and we're creating formulas, and when we are actually trying to manipulate the DOM and we're trying to do something with it in a more advanced level. Okay. Now remember, if you have questions, you can always leave them in the comment section below, and I will make sure that I reply as soon as I can. But please study. Please study. Go into this MDN article and read a little bit more. Read the description. Read what are static properties. Read the static methods, and just read. Read, because by reading is how you're going to learn. Then in this channel, we're going to be practicing a couple of things. Okay. So I hope you like this video, everybody. If you have liked this video, remember to give me a thumbs up. That really helps my channel. And if you want to get notified every time that I upload a new video, you can hit that ring bell. And remember that you can always ask Lixi. Okay, bye everyone, and see you again in the next episode.